Well, good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is April 29th, and I'm Chris Allen here with your 270 weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Well, today we're going to have to watch for the possibility of maybe some strong to severe storms. It's not a guarantee. The threat is there, yes. But will it actually materialize? Hmm, In some places, I think so. This is not going to be like a huge deal for us. Either end of this system, north and south, is going to get some of the brunt of the activity. Will be in between those two higher threat areas, which I'll discuss here in a moment. Where is my camera? Unable to unsist. What? What? Where's my camera? Well, that's strange. Okay. Oh, I bet I know what it is. I bet I know what it is. Uh, this my whole system reset and it did not take. Wait a minute. There it is. Ah, I just had to hit a few buttons and make it appear. There's the Plano cam live here at 7:29 here on this Tuesday morning. And you can see that we've got a few high clouds, and those clouds will thicken up as we go through the day. And sometime around midday and then through the afternoon and evening, showers and thunderstorms will be moving in. But this morning, it's not bad. It's a little humid when you go outside this morning. And as you leave for work, you will, of course, find that out. Yesterday, look at this, a high of 86, 12 degrees warmer than normal. 74 is the normal high temperature for the end of April. Now, here's the other thing. We were only that 86 was only 5 degrees shy of the record of 91 set back in 1906. 5 degrees away from the record. That's how warm it was yesterday. Felt like it. And there was that added moisture in the air. So the humidity, it felt a bit muggy. And this is after we started at 50 yesterday morning. And there were some locations, as you saw here, when I showed you the mesonet numbers, that started out in the upper 40s. And I know you were thinking, are we really going to get 85, 86 by the end of the day? And I said we would. And there you go. There's your proof. It happened. It's because of that warm front that came through. And so we're now under the established warm air, the moist air, the muggy air, which is going to give rise to showers and thunderstorms. So here's a look at radar, and you can see that they're not that far away. Showers, a few thunderstorms, nothing that's really intense, that's moving through parts of central Illinois, southern Illinois. And some of that rain is about to move into Paducah and parts of western Kentucky. But this is only the first wave. Now, some of this out here into central Kentucky, not so sure that those showers are actually reaching the ground. This could be one of those anomalies where you've got rain on the radar, but down at the surface, it's probably not happening. But it's possible that there could be some of these little renegade showers out there. Where is that? Let's zoom in closer. Danville, down to Lake Cumberland. Here's Green River Lake. This is Lake Cumberland. Down toward Albany, Burkesville, along Highway 90. Looks like they're getting a little bit of a shower. This is Dale Hollow Lake, right across the border. Here's Barren River Lake, of course, Bowling Green. Nothing showing up here, but looks like we're going to start to see a little bit of activity just kind of coming together. As you can see, everything is moving northeast, therefore the arrows. Here's where the best cluster of thunderstorm activity is going on this morning, just east of St. Louis. And as you go up north of Mount Vernon in Centralia, Illinois, that's some heavy rain right there and some lightning along with it. So, yeah, it's going to get a lot more active, and then look back here toward Joplin, Missouri, and then down toward Oklahoma City. They've had some tornado activity. They've had some severe thunderstorms, and they're still getting hit this morning. There's Norman, which is just outside Oklahoma City, and they're getting the thunderstorm. So, yeah, all of this has eventually got to move our direction. It's going to take, several hours, but it's going to be kind of a rinse and repeat. It's going to come in waves. We're going to have a wave come through this afternoon, then another wave tonight, overnight, then another wave tomorrow, then yet another, then another. And it's because the cold front's going to come in and stall over the area. That's why we're going to have so many rounds of rain. And it's possible that we could have a few stronger thunderstorms. And I'll show you that severe weather threat momentarily. Let's check first the satellite, high resolution satellite, and you can see that pretty clean and quiet here in some of those high clouds that I was showing you on the Plano cam. But now you see the thicker clouds back to the west, and all of those are going to move through along with better rain chances continuing on into the afternoon. Here is a look at current temperatures now. Kentucky Mesonet Network showing a far cry from what we had yesterday when we were showing 40s and around 50. Now we're looking at upper 60s to low 70s. And it's that humid air that's holding the temperatures up because where there's so much moisture in the atmosphere that it's going to hold the temperatures up. We have a warmer southerly flow that is going to be with us today, breezy at times. So the temperatures upper 60s to low 70s. Let's check the dew points, and they're well into the 60s. And this time of the year, once you get over 60, a 60-degree dew point, and you get into the 60s and even approaching 70 with a dew point, whew, that's some soupy air. That's warm, thick, muggy. Yeah, it's all that. You can see we're well into the 60s. Well, there's a 70. Look at that. 70-degree dew point in Calhoun, up in McLean County, with a temperature of 72. They have a dew point of 70. So their humidity is like in the 90% category. Whew. Yeah, that's some extra muggy air. So there's plenty of moisture out there. We just don't have a trigger just yet to touch off thunderstorms. Here are the winds coming out of the south. These are sustained winds at 5 to 10 to 11, 12, 14 miles per hour. But I bet your gusts are closer to 20. Yeah, 18, 18, 16. Not quite 20, but it's close. And notice the arrows indicating every wind everywhere, or the winds everywhere are coming out of the south. And that's key. Southerly winds at the surface, but up above us, we've got winds going at a different direction. So there's a little bit of turning with height. We call that shear. There will be some shear this afternoon that can cause some of those thunderstorms to go severe. Shear causes severe. See what I did there? I made it rhyme. It's it's just one of those things we have to watch for. And yes, the possibility of severe weather is there. We've got the moisture, we've got the lift, we've got the trigger, we've got the cold front, we've got um, all the ingredients needed. Now, is this going to be a big deal? I don't think so. Not for us. Like I said, near the low pressure centers, which is off to the northeast and down to the south, we're gonna have these places where we see the better instability and the better dynamics, if you will, for severe weather, and that's going to be further north and east, say from Lexington, Frankfort, Louisville, Covington, Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, northeast. That's where your level 3 enhanced risk for severe storms is today. We're sort of in the middle of it, and then there's another severe risk, greater severe risk down south and west of us. But Bowling Green, the 270, the 364, the 615, even parts of the 606 and the 502, you should be, um, you know, these kind of thunderstorms that pop up with a damaging wind threat, a hail threat. Now, we can't say a zero tornado threat because, well, as you see here, this is the tornado threat for today. Now, it's 2 to 4%, but we can have tornadoes in a 2 to 4% um, outlook area. It's very possible, but you see the better tornado threat is going to be up here in central Ohio. That's not to say we won't get a tornado here, but it's a little less likely because again, we're going to be away from the better shear, the better instability, the better dynamics. All that are going to be removed from us. But there will be, I think, a damaging straight line wind threat, as you see here, with that magenta color in that same area that's at the level 3 enhanced risk. That's where you're getting the possibility of severe thunderstorm winds this afternoon that could do some damage, and that risk is 30 to 44%. I don't see anything hatched, which is good. If it were hatched with the little black lines in it, then we're talking about a greater threat and winds closer to, hurricane strength, category 1 hurricane strength, but that's not the case. These will be your isolated, every so often type severe thunderstorms that can do some damage in a few places, but not everywhere. We're not looking at widespread damage here. And our threat here is 15 to 29% in southern Kentucky. Hail threat is there too, but it's rather low, 5 to 14%. And notice here, they do have this split. So the Kentucky is a little less of a threat for large hail. It's going to be southwest of us and northeast of us. And please don't say it's the Bowling Green bubble. It is not the bubble, and the bubble does not exist. You know I'm going to say that, but somebody's going to look at that. Look, there's the Bowling Green bubble. No such thing. Okay, I'm not going to get on that soapbox today. I, I know somebody's poking the bear. I can hear you out there. You're poking the bear. Don't poke the bear. I've only had one cup of coffee. So, all right, here we go tomorrow. They painted in a level 1 marginal risk north of Bowling Green, but much of southern Kentucky is in the general thunderstorm risk, general thunderstorms. Your garden variety stuff, the level 1 marginal risk is further north. Again, this is all dependent and drawn out how the front, which is going to first stall out around the Ohio River, then it's just going to flex as waves of low pressure ride along the front. It's going to make that front kind of go back, forth, and not really move anywhere. It's just going to kind of bend and shape, and that's why these outlooks look the way they look. And I said yesterday, there was even a threat that hasn't been painted in for Thursday. Well, now it has been painted in for Thursday. There it is. And it's right over the area. Again, and that's because The front, as it flexes on Wednesday, will try to start to come back together on Thursday, and then Friday, it finally gets kicked out of the area. So we're going to have multi-day risks, if you will, for the threat of some severe weather. But don't look at this as it's going to be a repeat of what, a month ago when we had that front just park over the area. I mean, park. And we had all the floods and we had the severe weather. It's not going to be a repeat of that. It is going to be on a much less severe scale. Yeah, there's a severe weather threat, but just don't look at this as, oh, here we come again. Here we go again. We're going to get hit with. No, we're not. There will be these places that do get some severe weather and some very heavy rainfall. That's also a very good possibility. And maybe some touches of minor flooding, especially as we get into Thursday. I think that's when some of the heaviest rain will move through until we get that front clearing the area on Friday. And then we're going to be left with a beautiful weekend for Derby Saturday. Okay, here we go. Surface maps showing that everything is fine this morning. Here comes some of the first waves of rain that you saw on radar back to the west. And then I think by midday, we start to see scattered showers and thunderstorms over the area. There's our front. And notice it's already starting to kind of curve and bend and flex. And then it's going to stall. It's going to stall just a little bit over the coming days. It's not going to come all the way through today. It's going to stay back here toward the Ohio River. Here we go into 7 o'clock tonight. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. There's a wave of low pressure, and look, the front stalls. There it is, stationary. But it's not going to be a full stop. As I mentioned the other day when I was doing this update, it's not going to be a full stop. It's going to be a rolling stop. Like most of us do when we come to a stop sign, we do a rolling stop. Just admit it. It's not a full stop. It should be a full stop, but we do a rolling stop. So we call this a quasi stationary front or an almost stalled boundary. And because of that, we're going to continue to see showers and thunderstorms coming in waves. It's not going to rain continuously. Look, the front retreats a little bit further north as we get into Wednesday morning. Here's Wednesday afternoon, and we're still in the thick of the rain. Occasional rain, occasional thunderstorms. Here's May 1st. Thursday is May 1st. Here we go into the early morning hours of Thursday. More rain and thunderstorms. Ooh, look at the coverage there. Now, I think this is when we're going to get our best drenching downpours. Thursday. We're going to be set up where the front is just kind of like a full sponge. It's just wringing out the atmosphere. And boy, is the atmosphere full of moisture. You saw that with the dew points. So here we go into Friday. Things start to kind of wane off a little bit. Heaviest rain moves east of Interstate 65 during the afternoon and evening. And then we start to clear out into Friday night and Saturday. And this is Derby Day. Oh, look at that. Clear as a bell. It's going to be cooler and it's going to be less humid. It's going to be perfect. The weather will be perfect on Saturday for the Derby. It's going to look good at Churchill Downs. Here's Monday at 1 o'clock. Sunday into Monday. Everything looking really, really nice for this big weekend in the state of Kentucky. All right, let's go to the blender. And as you can see, we've got, mid 80s, low to mid 80s. I think that's very doable. We hit 86, as you saw yesterday, 85, maybe 86 today, depending on where you are. Even with the showers and the thunderstorms the next couple of days, low to mid 80s, lows in the 60s. Then after the front, here we come. Friday, the front's pushing through. will cool down into the mid 70s, but look at Derby Saturday. Look at that. 70, maybe 71, but up in Louisville at Churchill Downs, it could be upper 60s and sunshine and lower humidity. It's really going to be nice. So, yeah, if you're planning on going up to the Downs, hey, it's going to be gorgeous. Sunday looks good too, 72. Now we're kind of back to where we should be for high temperatures this time of the year, even the beginning of May. We should be about 74, 75. We're going to be there. And then it's going to warm back up. Look what happens next week. We're going to get right back into the low 80s. Yeah, it's that warmer air. It's going to come make a big comeback for sure. Here's the 7-day forecast as I showed it last night on News 40 and WNKY.com and the News 40 weather app. 85 today with those scattered showers and thunderstorms, 65 tonight, wave upon wave of these clusters of thunderstorms coming through. Wednesday, 83. The best chance of rain, the best coverage is going to be Thursday and 82. Then the rains begin to taper off Friday, and the cold front tries to make its way through the area, and it will. And then we clear out after a high of 77. There's Derby Saturday. Beautiful. 71 here in Bowling Green, but like I said, it could be upper 60s up at Churchill Downs. And then really nice Sunday and Monday, mid to upper 70s uh, for the first few days of May. We're getting into May. So, Linda, let's see what you any any tornado watches later. That's hard to say for sure, but I think any kind of tornado watches or anything like that is going to be either, as I pointed out, northeast or southwest. Not so much here. I think for us, if there's any kind of a watch or warnings that happen, it's going to be severe thunderstorm. So hopefully that is the case. Oh, look here. This is my buddy Ryan. He's over in Jonesboro, Arkansas. He calls me the mayor. There's a reason for that. It's a long story. A few of my weather buddies of mine around the country, we know each other. Ryan actually went to Western, um, and now he's the weather chief in Jonesboro, Arkansas at Kate 8, KAIT. And when we meet up together and get with our fellow brethren, um, we call each other brethren because it's a really nice fellowship and partnership. But they call me mayor because we've been to some places where people have come up to me and said, Chris Allen, what are you doing here in Salt Lake City? What are you doing here in Birmingham, Alabama? And they're like, people know you. Of course they know me. I'm worldwide. So good morning, Ryan. Thank you. He's had a workout lately. Whew, he's had some rough weather. So Ryan, been praying for you, dude. Judy here. Let's see. Hail. Uh, it's a possibility. Yeah. I mean, there's enough cold air aloft that we could have some of those, raindrops come down, freeze according to what the freezing level is. Well, I haven't looked at that very close, but the Storm Prediction Center is saying, yeah, there could be some hail in there. Big hail, questionable. We'll see. But there's enough warm air, I think, around that a lot of those big pieces of ice could start to melt before they hit the ground and not be as big. Radar may go up and hit them and look at them and say, ooh, those look like half-inch hail or 1-inch hail or whatever. But by the time they reach the ground, they go through all that warm air, then they may not be that big. But plan on some hail. It is a possibility this afternoon. As I mentioned, the tornado threat is not zero, but it's not no. It's there's always in any kind of severe weather situation, a threat that something could spin up. But we'll watch it. We'll keep an eye on it. In the meantime, I will see you at 5, 6, and 10 on News 40 tonight, NBC and CBS 40. Anytime on the News 40 weather app, and of course, WNKY.com, because local matters. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and God bless.